Is your bike's dash stuck in 2015? For less than a set of tyres, this unit gives you wireless CarPlay, Android Auto and dual dash cams. It's Carpuride 603D, which they did send over to me to install on the bike, but it's a real world review, not an ad. Let's see what's inside the box and whether it actually belongs on your bike. So you get the unit itself, a manual, front and rear cameras, a ball joint mounting bracket, a spare fuse, a bag of assorted rubber shims and bolts, and a USB power lead. The main unit's made of a lightweight plastic that doesn't feel premium. It's lighter than expected, but it doesn't feel cheap either. It's solid enough and it's a good size, especially for the price. The wired remote's made of the same plastic, but the buttons have all got a decent click to them. Now the cameras are actually made of metal and they're nicely finished, and the housing does feel sturdy, but those mounts, they're a bit flimsy. The cameras are light though, and 3M tape is super strong, so we're just gonna have to see what it's like on the bike. The mounting clamp, again, it's all metal and everything feels solid. It's nicely machined and it's nicely finished. The cables are all looking fairly standard. The unit can be powered by USB or wired directly to your battery. Everything feels up to the job and no issues there. The instructions are clear. Everything's nice and simple with some diagrams to help you. If you've installed something like this before, you'll have no problem. But even if you haven't, this one's really straightforward. Now look, this isn't a premium unit, but for around £150, you're getting a full dual camera CarPlay system with all the fixings. And that's really good value, but is it any good? And here's the blank canvas, but the principles remain the same for your bike. Before anything goes on, it's best to look at where you might want to mount everything, so the process goes smoothly and your setup stays clean and tidy. You'll want to mount the screen somewhere that's easy to see without blocking your dash and keeping a more integrated look rather than an add-on piece. And a nice little touch is the rubber shims of these little wings on them that slot into the mount itself to stop them moving about when you're attaching them to the bars. And if you need to add more, the smaller pieces use the same system. Okay, let's see if we can get this into a position that works. Next up, if you've got a USB power pack, use the provided cable to power up the unit while you get all your cameras into position. Make sure you're happy before you commit to hooking it up to the actual battery. And then give the surface that you're sticking your camera to a real good clean, giving that 3M tape a good chance of sticking for a long time. So you might want to utilise certain screw points like this one here. The headlight's round and the clamp is flat. So I'm going to screw it on here and see what it's like. Once you're happy, you can then route the main power cable straight to the battery. No splicing, no drama. And then all you have to do is tidy up your cables, just follow the path of the existing wiring loom, using cable ties and a bit of patience to make everything neat and tidy. Once you've got everything loosely how you want it, just double check that you can rotate your steering both ways without pulling at the wires or impeding on anything else. Once you're happy, tidy it all off and tighten up those cable ties. Okay, moment of truth, let's power this on and see how quick the boot time is. Seven seconds is alright, and my first impressions, that screen is not very bright, but it is a very sunny day and the sun is right behind us. I'll need to just check the brightness settings. Flicking through the buttons of the control unit, it takes us through different screen modes. Let's see how responsive the touchscreen is. Feels better than expected, but I'm gonna have to just check this brightness setting. And yeah, you can see compared to the phone, it's just not quite as bright. And the other thing I notice is the screen seems to be a little bit more reflective, but the real test is on the bike. So I've been running the 603D for over a week now, and here's my initial thoughts. In normal conditions, the screen's clear and totally usable, but when you hit bright daylight or direct sun, it does start to fade. You can still use it, but it does get more difficult to see. The touchscreen is just as responsive as other units I've used. Most of the time it works, but with gloves on, obviously now and again, you do have to press it a couple of times. The dash cams are functional and reliable, and although the brackets seem flimsy at first, they've been holding up just fine. The footage is quite dark though, especially in low light. There's maybe a firmware tweak that can fix this. Still, if you need to prove fault in an accident, they'll do the job just fine. The interface is surprisingly quick and intuitive. Voice commands work well, and I've had no issues with audio or connectivity. The wired control unit is responsive too, though I do wish the buttons were customizable. And while the home screen is functional, it could look a little slicker. I'll update on the durability in a few months, but so far there's no complaints. So what's the final verdict? If you don't need the extra things like GPS, tyre pressure sensors or blind spot monitoring, and you're okay with a slightly dimmer screen, then this thing seriously levels up your tech without draining your wallet. And in fact, I'd say it's worth the money alone just for the dash cams, especially if you're ever involved in a non-fault accident and you need to prove what happened. It's a no-frills upgrade, but for the price, it punches well above its weight. I've dropped a link in the description along with a discount code if you want to pick one up yourself, and if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Thanks for watching, ride safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.